Well, everyone, welcome to AI Movies Review, and I'm here to review Season 3 of For All Mankind from Apple TV+, and this series is a science fiction alternate history of the United States and the space race. And at this point, we're in the 90s. We have Ellen Wilson, who is the President of the United States, who ended up beating Bill Clinton, and she is the first astronaut president, and dealing with this kind of storyline brings in a lot of extra politics into this show in particular, and I'll get to that in a minute. But basically, the main crux of this new season is the mission to Mars, and it winds up being a space race between NASA and Russia. But also a commercial space flight company that winds up swooping in and trying to take the thunder and try to compete with these nations and try to privatize the space industry and the space race. And I feel like this was an interesting take on things and adding added layers in terms of, it's topical because you have like SpaceX and stuff like that, and this is starting to really come into play in today's world, and obviously they, with this alternate history, are able to plug this into the 90s context. But this show has so many thread lines, to be honest, and some of them get a little overwhelming, but in general, this show really is kicking it into high gear. And this season is really impactful in terms of a lot of human drama, but also some bigger scale focal points in terms of, you have Margot Madison, played by Ren Schmidt, who's big at NASA, who's starting to get caught for helping the Russians advance their space program, and where this season takes her under investigation. And honestly, up to the final shot of this season adds whole new layers to the show. You have Ed at the center and Karen, who are not together anymore, but Ed basically gets shunned out of leading the NASA mission and winds up shifting gears and winds up joining this company that's trying to get to Mars as well. And Karen, who really gets the shine in this season, played by Chantal Van Santen. She becomes one of the board members and one of the higher-ups of this company, and you get to see her dealing with the layers. And you have Eddie Gathegi, who plays Dev, who's the man who runs this company, and you definitely get to see this commentary on the egalitarian leader of something where it's just like, if it's egalitarian, there shouldn't be really a leader. And that hypocrisy really comes into play. With Ellen, Jodie Balfour really gets to do some great work in this season because the shroud of deceit around the fact that she's a lesbian and her husband's a gay man starts crumbling down when her husband can't help himself and starts having affairs around the White House. And it causes a big political shift in the landscape. Her going back to her past and really chasing down her true love, but also dealing with the perspectives of gay rights and all kinds of things like that, which adds layers to the show. You have Danielle Poole, who I feel like was a bigger piece earlier in the season and the meaning of her getting to lead this NASA mission, but I feel like other things kind of took over focus throughout the season. And you do have Kelly Baldwin, Cynthia Wu, who winds up having an affair with a Russian cosmonaut and she gets pregnant, and that adds a lot of layers of drama and tension to this season, including one of the big ticking time bombs of the finale. And you have other characters who wind up becoming big focal pieces as well in this season, with this whole entire terrorist plot that winds up upping the ante in terms of drama and stakes in this season. You have Karen's ex-young lover, who is on the same ship as Ed, and Joel Kinnaman. I really think this is his best work, period. This show has been so great for him to be able to really flex his acting chops and get to play this character who I feel like was such a great fit for him, and he's really able to sell all of this so well. And this season advances a lot of subplots. It does spend time on things that I feel like maybe we don't feel as connected to, but they utilize them to hit some broader strokes later in the season. But not every episode's a home run, but this last episode, this finale, Stranger in a Strange Land, which is almost an hour and a half long, really hits home. And in general, it's been a consistently entertaining and engaging season, and I'm interested to see what they do in 2003 as it's teased at the end of this finale. So this is a big win for Apple TV+, and hopefully they could keep writing this, but it hasn't worn out its welcome net yet, and I think there's still things to play around with and to commentate on. Maybe this fourth season might be the last. Because I feel like they have started to hit on a lot of relevant things already, but we'll have to see. But those are my thoughts on Season 3 of For All Mankind. Let me know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe my channel.